Alrighty, so UFC. I don't even have it up here. Damn, how professional am I? UFC. Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg just took place yesterday, day before, as of recording this video, and I'm here to give you my picks and predictions on the next fight night. Main event and whole card, technically speaking. If you're new around here, I do picks and predictions on every single UFC fight card, including the prelims, including the dog shit, shitty ones that have women main events. You know the ones I'm talking about. A little bit new of a fan, full transparency, and keep it honest here. I do this shit based off pure passion. I don't put money on these fights, normally. And, you know, I don't necessarily recommend you also put money on the fights. However, gamble responsibly. Anyways, with all that being said, if you're looking for MMA content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I do videos a couple times a week, so, you know, slowly building my empire here. Just saying, if you're looking for a new content creator. Moving on to the fight night card of Lerone Murphy versus Josh Emmett. Vanessa Dumopoulos versus Talita Alencar for early prelims, eh? This is what we're doing? This is what we're doing? Early prelims? Alright. I need to make sure I write down my picks. Okay, so you're new around here. By the way, this card's not looking like complete dog shit like most of these fight night cards have been this year, but there's a few stinkers, this being one of them. Now, some people like to do high-tech methods in order to pick their women's fights, you know? You have the MMA gurus, you have the Lucas Tracy's, Bedtime MMAs. You know the sort. You know them. You know them. They like to use logic and reasoning when picking a woman's fight. I, myself, you know, I don't have a pick doctor AI doing it for me, you know, like the We Want Picks. You know, I use the tried and true method of a coin flip, baby. Let's fucking go. All right, let's see what the coin says today, baby. And for record, I believe the coin is, I want to say 5-2 in the last 7. It's something to keep note of. Just saying. You know, last week it let us down. Let's see how it does this week. Actually, I need to do a better flip than that. You know what? We're going to spin it. And we got, oh shit. Fuck. Wait, let me spin it again. Heads is on the left, tails on the right. Let's go. Not looking. Let's see what we get. All right. So I think we all know. Actually, wait. This one's probably a close one, huh? Yeah, they're boring as shit. No one cares. All right. So tails right, heads left. What do we get? Oh, we got a tails. All right. We're going with Talita Alencar. You know, Talita, she's, you know, she's the younger fighter, guys, you know. She's got that height advantage. I love to see that, you know, a little bit of reach disadvantage. 148 centimeters. Oh, okay. You know, she's got a better win percentage, guys. Come on, she's got that one draw. Maybe that's a no contest. You know, yikes. Anyways, moving on, we have, oh, shit. Oh, okay. Loma Lookboonmee got canceled? Oh, okay. It's another rebooked one. Victor Henry versus Pedro. Oh, wait. I gotta... Who did I pick? It was Talita. Talita. All right. Locked in, baby. Let's go. Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. Falcao. Now, Victor Henry ain't bad. He ain't that good. He's a little bit like Alex Caceres, you know? Just, sometimes he's got a lot of skill and he's a little bit older, to be fair, you know? He's like, if you watch last weekend's, he's a little bit like Vince McKell in a way, you know? He's a volume striker, a little bit, you know, maybe more takedowns here and there, but debut? Not a debut. He lost to Victor Hugo, eh? Ooh, don't like that. Don't like that, eh? Damn, he shot 13 takedowns? Jesus Christ, why? Alan Curtis too, eh? It was a year ago? Ooh. Yikes. Victor Henry's got a reach advantage. Ooh, this one's tough. You know, Victor Henry, is he coming off a loss? I think he is, right? He got submitted by the great Charles Jourdain. Hey, proud of my country, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. That's right. Canada's on the rise. Just you wait, all right? You Americans don't know what's coming once Canada gets their new prime minister. I don't know. Anyways, one day we'll come back, guys. You know, he killed Ronnie Yaya. So that means he can knock out a 40-year-old man. That's not bad, you know? Yikes. You know, he's a good volume striker. He's tough as shit. Not tough as shit. He's kind of tough. I'm going to go with Victor Henry. I imagine he's probably a favorite. I'm not, like, too confident on it because he is older and he is kind of dog shit. You know, like, you know how, like, Honey Barcelos, in a way, is, like, the bantamweight shittier Edson Barbosa, you know? Even though he just fraud-checked Peyton Talbot. Victor Henry is kind of like a little bit worse than Alex Caceres, but he has a little bit more brain cells, in a way, you know? So it's kind of hard to really predict his fights. But I'm going to go with Victor Henry, you know? He's got a lot of experience. He hasn't lost to fucking Victor Hugo, you know? Age worries me, though. You know, the age definitely does worry me. Not everyone can be a Jim Miller. Not everyone can be a Jan Blachowicz, who got robbed by Carlos Ulberg. But Victor Henry, he's a dog, I guess, you know? Yeah, I think he'll get it done. Probably a 30-27. Pedro's probably just going to get outworked, you know? Been trying the mustache, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Just saying. Probably can't see it because, you know, yeah. You know, I'm growing facial hair. Anyways, moving on to the women's fight. Loma Lookboonmee versus Istela Nunes. 6-5 in the UFC. Yeah, man. Women's MMA. Just fucking fantastic. Yeah, we don't need to cut them from the sport. We shouldn't defund them so that we can give the male fighters more pay. We shouldn't fucking remove the divisions because they're all dog shit. Nah, we should keep them around, guys. You know, alright, so we're gonna spin the coin. That's a vibe I'm feeling. Same rule, I think it was before I look at the coin. It was heads. Heads is left, tails is right. Let's see what we get. I think, okay, I'm just saying this now. You know, one of them is 6-5, okay? The other one's 9-3, right? What is he, like really short? You know, reach. Oh my god. What is this? This is straw weight? Holy shit. Damn, Loma's younger? And she looks like that? No offense, but it's just kind of rough. Oh no. Oh no. Boys, we might be cooked. Oh, that's the tails right there, boys. We might be cooked. Hey. You never doubt the coin, alright? We're going with Istela. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Istela Nunes. Oh, no. Moments before disaster, boys. What can I say? Hey, the coin has spoken. She's short as shit. Hey, you know what? To be fair, Istela is probably what? On a 4-fight losing streak? 3-fight losing streak? You know, she wants to get her career back after getting knocked out. Yeah, you know? What else can I say, boys? Anyways, there's another women's fight on this fucking card. Are you serious? Anyways, moving on to Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Alright, I'm just gonna take an educated guess. This is a debut. Is this a debut? Tapology. We'll click on Homeboy. Romania. Okay. Okay. Damn, 8 KOs, eh? 8 KOs, 1 decision. Okay, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Contender Series. This is what? Reese McKee's... This isn't middleweight, is it? Where does it say welterweight? Okay. Okay. I was gonna say, this isn't a middleweight. I think Reese McKee... Has he fought at middleweight? Or am I thinking of somebody else? No, I think Reese McKee's a welterweight, right? He fought... It wasn't... Was it Hamzat? No way it was Hamzat. It might have been Hamzat, but... You know... Any names I'm noticing here? Pedro, Gary, fucking whoever. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, opponent 7-7, 3-2, 0-0, 2-2, 5. Okay. Oh, 17-1. That's a pretty good one. Ground and pound KO. Ooh. You know what? It's a debut, and it's probably going to be unpopular. But I might just say fuck it, go with Reese McKee. Because like, Reese McKee really isn't that bad. Damn, he's got a hell of a fucking reach. And he's young, too. That reach is kind of insane. You know, debuts are really rough this year, I think. I think a lot of debuts are losing. Especially heavy favorite ones. I don't even know what the odds are going to be. I'm going to guess Reese McKee's probably the underdog. Because, what, he's coming off 2 losses? Chidi Njokuani. That one's aging pretty well, to be fair. Kind of sucks that he didn't even really hurt Chidi that much. Yikes. What are we looking at? Skeletor? I remember that nickname. Okay, Angelusa. Okay, that's who I was thinking of, not Hamzat. Oh, it actually was Hamzat. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Yeah, that was rough. That was his debut, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. God damn. You know, the win, or the loss on Alex Morono, damn, he got back to the UFC. He can't get a win in the UFC. God damn. You know what? I'm trusting my boy Reese McKee, you know? The Angelusa, to be fair, like, Chidi, Angelusa, those aren't, like, bad losses. Angelusa is, like, a pussy bitch that knew he was going to get his ass whooped by Brian Battle, the next welterweight champion, who will become the next welterweight GOAT one day. But, you know, Alex Morono, what is this, 5 years ago? That's not bad. That's, like, a good technical Alex Morono, you know? That's not bad. That's really not bad. Huh. That's really not bad, man. And that was when he was much younger. Fuck, eh? And he does have KO. He hasn't had a decision win. That's kind of interesting. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. You know what? I'm going to go with Reese McKee. It's probably not going to be popular, but I think he's got his career on his line. It's his second time in the UFC. I think he's going to be more comfortable in there than his opponent, and his opponent might just think he's gonna walk through this guy. Now, I'm not saying every fighter does it, but if I was a fighter, I would be looking at my opponent's record. If I'm seeing he's lost every single UFC bout, I'm gonna get a little like, okay, I'm probably beating this guy. You know what I mean? It's in the timeline, you know? That would probably be circling my head. Reese McKee's younger, too. I know it's not, like, a big age difference, but it's something to mention. The reach advantage is just crazy. I'm going with Reese McKee. You know, he's looked pretty decent, even in his losses. And his losses are, like, you know, like Angelusa. Before Brian Battle fucking tore his ass a new one, you know? Wasn't that bad, you know? He was seen as, like, the Neil Magny in the unranked area of welterweight. But now Neil Magny's there, so Angelusa has been replaced. Yeah, you know, I think I'm gonna go with Reese McKee. I might do really bad on this card, but I'm gonna go with Reese McKee with the upset. I'm assuming he's got to be an underdog. There's no way. No wins in the UFC. Come on, bruh. Anyways, yeah, this young guy, this other young guy, shorter reach, debut. I don't think this is like Mexico City or some shit. This is probably, I think it's Apex. Yeah, man, Apex, he's got a reach advantage. It's going to be a shorter octagon. He's going to be able to, like, pressure forward. He might even get the KO, to be fair. Fuck, man. Yeah, I'm going with Reese McKee. Anyways, moving on. Diana Belbita versus Dione Barbosa. As always, you know how it goes. All right, heads left, tails right. Let's do a proper spin because I can't flip a coin to save my life. Oh my god. All right, fuck it. You know what? Whatever this is, we're taking it. Let me try flipping it. Oh, it just flipped on the same thing. Anyways, all right. So we're going with another tails. Diana Barbosa. You know, she's got Barbosa in her name, therefore she's got that heritage advantage from being from the great Barbosas. You know, the Edson Barbosas, if you will. I think there's another Barbosa. Can't remember the guy's first name, or maybe it's the other way around, but I'm pretty sure there's another Barbosa somewhere. You know, she's... Yikes. Guys, this might be a rough one, I'm not gonna lie. The coin might go 0-3 this card. Yeah, we're going with Dione Barbosa, you know? 29-28 split decision. You know, what else can I say? It's a women's fight at the end of the day. Moving on, we have Davy Grant versus Daniel Santos. Damn, Davy's almost 40, eh? He looked really tough in his last performance. Who did he beat? It was someone... Yeah, Ramon Tavares. And Ramon was coming off like a good KO win, I believe. Or it was a good decision win. Close. It was kind of a close fight, to be fair. It was against, like, it was like the... It was a trilogy, I think, of like a weird unranked bum that no one cares about. But Davy Grant like whooped his ass. Like he fucking put a whooping on him. You know, he whooped him in every round. I think it was a 30-27. It might have been a 29-28. I do believe Davy Grant got hurt at one point, but he kind of popped off. You know, taking time off, don't really like that. But Davy Grant could be like a Jim Miller dude in bantamweight. You know, he's pretty tall for the division, to be fair, right? Yeah. He's not bad. What are we looking at with Daniel, huh? Similar height. A little bit short of a reach. You know, like... You know, I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie, you know? I might go with Davy Grant. I know he's a 40-year-old man, but... This could be a card where a lot of the old dogs win. You know? The old vets, if you will. You know, the crafty vets. You know, some say. Yeah, I think Davy Grant's just going to push a pace on Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos, I haven't seen anything to be like, wow, this guy's good. You know, his striking's not really there. He's kind of patient on the feet. You know, who did he fight? He didn't even fight last year. Come on, man. What are we doing? Johnny Munoz? Like, come on, you know? Fucking John Castaneda? You know, it's not that good either. Lost to Julio, yeah, I don't trust it. I don't see anything of Daniel Santos's, like, good. Like, he's patient on the feet against Davy Grant, who's, like, a volume guy. You know, if you start losing rounds, you gotta go for the big moments. If you go for the big moments, you know, you might be able to get a knockdown on Davy Grant, but I think he's gonna be tough enough to get back up. And at a certain point, some old dudes, like... There's the cases where it's like what's his name? Drew Dober. Unfortunately, he suffered another KO loss. There's times where it's like when a guy gets hurt, he gets back up. Like Josh Emmett, I think is a really good example of that. When he gets hurt, he knows to just like spring back up, you know? Jim Miller, yeah, not really Bobby Green. Bobby Green's kind of got no chin anymore, but you know what I mean. Like some of these older guys, Honey Barcelos, think is a good example. Edson Barbosa, you know, like those type of dudes, when they get hurt, at some point it is just like, you have to shut their lights out or they're getting up, you know, like you have to commit a crime in there, you know, or they're getting back up, you know, so like hitting 13 to 15 back of the head strikes illegally on Drew Dober while he's hugging a leg. And the ref just doesn't give a fuck because he clearly had money on the fight. Just saying. Only reason why I even got a loss that night. Anyways. Yeah, I think Davy Grant's one of these dudes. Like, in order to actually, like, KO him, because he pushes a good pace, because he shoots those takedowns, because he's volume striking, you know? Because of all that, you have to put his lights out. I don't think Daniel Santos is gonna fucking put out Davy Grant's lights out. You know? Like, I'm talking like fucking corpse in there. I'm talking like Ilya Volkanovski, fucking, you know, Josh Emmett, fucking Bryce Mitchell type shit, you know? Dan Ige, Andre Philly, you know? I'm talking like they're a corpse. I don't think Davy Grant's gonna get hit like that, you know? I imagine he's probably an underdog. It's gotta be close, though. I imagine it's gotta be close. I'm gonna go with Davy. I'm going with Davy Grant, you know? So far, we got, what? That was a pick'em. Victor, he's probably the favorite. Estella is probably the underdog, given the record. Reese is an underdog. Dione's probably an underdog. Davy Grant's probably an underdog. Oh, boy. Well, you know, This year has been kind of crazy for dogs. We'll see what happens. Moving on, we have Ode Osborne versus Luis Gurule. Gurule. This guy debut? I'm sensing it. Fuck you, ESPN. Topology. 10-0. I don't give a fuck. When you're an early MMA fan, typically you'll see that flawless record and you'll be like, oh, this guy's probably going to win. It's not always the case. You know, we're looking at, okay, a split decision in his last fight. Ooh, that's not a good look. Not gonna lie, not a good look. Nice little submission on an 11-10 guy. Yikes, you know? What are we looking at? KOs? KOs. It's not bad. Not bad, you know? What is this? Sub in the 4th round? Why is it, like, grayed out? Oh, that's, no, 3rd round? 4th round. I guess that's, like, after 3 rounds? Huh, interesting. Damn, he's had 3, or no, 1 split decision, I was gonna say. Yeah, you know, I think I'm just gonna go, man. Why am I thinking about this? This is fucking Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne sucks ass. Has he even won in the UFC? I don't think so. He's only getting older. I think he's just going to get chinned. Luis probably can just knock this kid out with a 1-2. Ronaldo Rodriguez fucking sucks ass. Has no chin. Almost got knocked out by Kevin Borjas. That's Ode Osborne's, like, credit at this point. That's, like, his best fight. Ronaldo fucking Rodriguez, okay? And I'm so happy I picked Kevin Borjas, man. Holy shit. Yeah, Hafi Filho, you know, he's getting subbed too. Yeah, I don't like that. Sub by Asu, and Asu's not even that good. Asu's like Asu is good, but he is like a very big quitter. Like you can snowball him if he thinks he's losing. You know what I mean? Kind of like a Chris Curtis in a way, or like what's another one? Like an Umar Nurmagomedov. If you start beating him, he'll just like give up in the later rounds. Like he won't go for a finish. You know, he gets like a plus 50% debuff on his stamina type shit. So yeah, okay, he's beat Charles Johnson. That's a good win, to be fair. Charles Johnson's a little underrated, but that was in 2023. This is probably best win. Doesn't look like the same from then, you know. KO'd a guy who's 4-4. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Ode's been KO'd before. He's getting older. Yeah, I think he's just gonna get knocked out. I think maybe a ground and pound. But Ode makes mistakes. He does plant. He is... he kind of throws with heat, but like at this point it's just like it's flyweight. Anyone can get knocked out in my opinion. Flyweights are kind of just like everyone is kind of Steve Verseg, but like either worse in terms of skill or better in terms of skill, you know? In terms of like, I guess below the top 5, maybe. I think is a good way to put it. Because Steve Verseg, his only problem is that he doesn't have a good chin, but like no flyweight has a good chin outside of the Brandons and the Pantosias. Outside of the old guys who've been around for a while, top 5 material. You know what I mean? So, you know, even Kaikar of France, I don't even think has that great of a chin. You know, he gets hurt sometimes. But I think Luis is probably going to look good. I think he's probably going to look fast, as flyweights normally do, and he'll probably knock out Ode Osborne because he fucking sucks. Ode sits there, standing in front of his opponents. A little bit like Adesanya in terms of that, like, a little bit more of a rangy stance. Does he have a reach advantage? Does have a reach advantage as, interesting. It's very interesting. I kind of thought he would because he does look like that long, rangy dude. I just don't think Ode Osborne's fucking good. Like, I do think he's just dog shit. So, Louis, whatever his name is, I think this guy's probably going to walk through him. Only because Ode sucks, you know? Like, there's nothing to really be like, oh yeah, Ode's striking's really good. Not really. He just throws hard. Anyone can fucking do that at flyweight, you know? Like, he probably has similar to power to Steve Verseg, I'd say. Probably not much more. He's just rangier, so he makes it look a little bit better. Very patient on the feet. Arguably lost against... Or no, he did lose against Ronaldo Rodriguez. To be fair, arguably beat, but... I also thought Ode Osborne actually did beat Ronaldo Rodriguez live, but I don't give a fuck because it's like Ode Osborne sucks. Anyways, moving on to the main card. Do I have everything? I have Luis, David Grant, yeah. Anyways, Torres Finney versus Robert Valentine? Interesting. Got knocked out by Ryan Loader. Don't like that. Oh, he didn't land a fucking... Jesus. He had 2 sub attempts? Huh. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. This Torres guy, oh man. I've been seeing pictures of him. Alright? I don't watch these unranked bums outside the USC. I'm a USC fan, alright? I'm not a fucking... whatever fucking promotion this guy's from fan. Oh, it actually says UFC Apex right there. Okay, well, we know it's Apex. This guy is like a more juiced up Joaquin Buckley in his pictures, man. I don't know how the fuck he does it. I think he's 5'8", I want to say. Man, but it's middleweight. And the problem is, at middleweight, if you're like under 6 foot, you're in for a rough go. And I think that's what we saw with Buckley. Buckley is genuinely one of the best like welterweights on the planet right now. He literally... he whooped Colby Covington. He probably beats Leon Edwards. He probably has a good going against Shavkat. He probably could beat Bilal Muhammad. You know, I can't see him being a... like, out of the top 5 right now, even like Kamaru Usman... like, man, out of the top 5 in welterweight right now, I don't think Buckley would be more than a plus 150 underdog. You know, I can't... and anything more than that is fucking value if you're a degenerate gambler, just saying. But... this Torres Finley guy, this is an unranked bum, to be fair. Robert Valentine did just get knocked out. 1 + 1 = 2. If this Valentine, or this Torres guy can go in there, look as juice as he does. He's not, I don't think he's going to throw kicks kind of like a Buckley does. Because I think that's like sort of Buckley's thing, you know? Or when this coach yells Tyson and starts doing the Mike Tyson in there. But this Torres guy, I'm going to trust the Torres guy to get it done. For the unranked guys. You know, at middleweight, I know he looks like he's juiced up as fuck. That's partially why I'm doing it. Mainly because Robert got knocked out in his last fight. I'm pretty sure this guy's striking isn't all that either. Based on that Ryan Loader performance. And, yeah, he's probably more of a grappling guy. So, you know, this could be like a situation where Robert embraces his inner Nurmagomedov and just fucking take down and fucking, you know, controls our top position the whole time. But Torres like a big dense dude. Reach is pretty good for his height, considering his height is at a such disadvantage. So I'm gonna go Torres here. Yeah. If this was, let's see, middleweight. If this was like it was like a new middleweight. If this was like Guatar, I think Guatar smokes Torres. You know, if this was like Gerald Mearshart, I could see Mearshart pulling off like a sub. You know what I mean? If this was like, just because of size. If this was like, man, who are some unranked decent fighters? There's not really a lot of them at middleweight, is there? Bruno Silva, I want to say. Like, if this was Bruno Silva, maybe before the Weidman fight, Bruno Silva would probably have a good chance of beating this guy. Just because when you are at some point it is just, you're at a genetic disadvantage. It is what it is, you know? Like, you can't be 5'2" and fight at lightweight right now. It's just, it's not gonna fucking work for you. Just being honest, right? 5'8" at middleweight is just like, oh man, that's tough. His reach does make up for it, but it is fucking tough being 5'8" at middleweight. I wouldn't be surprised if Torres does get fucking, you know, guillotined out of nowhere, as we see a lot of these fucking brain-dead debuts, you know? Man. Middleweight is shit, though. So he can probably do something. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Torres. I'm not going to think too much about it. I haven't watched any of Torres' fights. I've just seen him in his pictures, and he looks juiced up as fuck. If he truly is 5'8", like Joaquin Buckley, that might be rough. And if he is truly on the juice, like it kind of looks like he is, he's probably a little chinny. So, I'm not going to be surprised if this Torres guy gets fucked up. But I'm going to go with Torres. Just like 1 + 1 = 2. He's looks like a knockout guy. Haven't seen his record. I'm going to guess there's a lot of knockouts there. Just based on the physique of the guy, if you will. And Robert just got knocked out. You know, Ryan Loder isn't that good. Torres Finley, if he's just a little bit close to Ryan Loder, he's going to get it done. Moving on, Brad Tavares versus GM3. Hey, I was just talking about this guy. Like, Brad Tavares could probably beat Finley. Maybe not, but maybe, you know? Or Finney. GM3. I'm actually going to go with GM3. Brad Tavares sucks. There was a time before G-Rod, Gregory Rodriguez that he fought, where I was kind of high on Brad Tavares. I thought he was a little bit of a sleeper, but I'm done coping about Brad Tavares. This guy fucking sucks. His last win was what? Chris Weidman? And Chris Weidman fucking sucks. Brad Tavares has been around forever. He lacks IQ. Yeah, knockout to him. Decision with Park Yun Young, you know. Don't like that. What's his nickname? Iron Turtle? Something like that. Yeah, the Bruno Silva fight, he got knocked out. I know man, that was 2023 he beat Weidman? Fuck, time flies. Oh, I remember seeing this live, man. God, I'm getting old. Anyways, man, I can't believe it was... Okay, it was late 2023. I'm not that old. Anyways. Who was it before then? DDP, like... I know he's fought like Murderers Row. He's fought DDP. He's fought the Chris Weidmans, you know? Former champions. But he is shit. Like, he is just like... When he's in there, his brain is just off. I know GM3 has no fucking chin, but he did wobble Reiner de Ritter, guys. Like, that's not bad, right? I know Reiner looked like a fucking baby out there in terms of his striking. He looked like Sean Woodson if Sean Woodson wasn't part xenomorph. You know what I mean? Just ugly striking, no pop, nothing behind it. Ugly, disgusting looking, you know? Gregory, this situation, in my opinion, was an early stoppage because Brad Tavares didn't really get dropped. I don't think Brad's going to get dropped by GM3. But the thing with... This is how I think the fight's going to go. I think GM3 will genuinely... Like, he'll get probably tagged a few times. And GM3 is victim to, like... If you land just somewhere on his chin, you're probably knocking him out. I don't think Brad's going to land on his chin. Like, he's not clean. His boxing isn't technical. He doesn't really leg kick at all. Voice crack, ignore that. Like, I'd maybe go Brad Tavares if he looked good in his performances, but he really doesn't. He backs up all the time. GM3 could get him against the fence, shoot a takedown. Especially GM3's coming off, what? 1 loss in a row, or is it 2 in a row? Don't be 2. Well, he beat Edmund Shabazian, you know? That's a good fucking win. Brian Barberena, good submission. Good submission, you know? I think now that he's in the loss column, we're looking at a GM3 trying to bounce back, trying to be smart. You know, he wasn't really shooting takedowns on Reiner de Ritter. Even though he got tapped out, I get that. But I think he's going to shoot takedowns on Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares isn't that good. Not that technical. He's not that powerful. How old is he? 37? It's the same age, man. This is literally story of opposites. You have a damn, GM3's got a reach, huh? Holy shit. God damn. Yeah, Brad's a fucking short stack. Same height. Different reach. GM3 has no fucking chin. And the only thing he can rely on is his skillful grappling. And at times having success on the feet. Brad Tavares. Godlike chin. Most of the time. Terrible everywhere. Like, everywhere. He doesn't have good pressure. He's brain dead. He'll think he wins rounds when he doesn't. You know, I bet you any money in that Gregory Rodriguez fight, he did think he was winning rounds. And he will just stand there eating shots. Like, he won't fight back. Both of these guys can roleplay the victim in their fights. One of them ends up like a corpse. The other one stands there and looks like Marvin Vettori 2.0. I'm going with GM3. GM3's probably a big dog. Man, this might be a rough card for me, boys. Moving on, Kennedy. God damn it, I hate these fucking fights. Kennedy versus Martin Boudet. I'm going Kennedy. I'm not thinking too much about this. Heavyweights. Kennedy sucks. Martin also sucks. This would be a very Kennedy fight to lose. But, okay, I'm just going to say this for anyone who's really high on... this is just advice, alright? If you're really high on Kennedy and you're like, buddy, what do you mean? He's got a fucking crazy reach. He's fucking tall as shit. You know, 210 centimeters is kind of wild, you know? He's a fucking dangerous dude on the feet. Let me just... friendly reminder, okay? Heavyweights are bums. I agree. Friendly reminder, guys. A 45-year-old Ovince St. Preux beat this man last year. Hey, I'm just saying, guys. 1 year ago, Kennedy lost to Ovince St. fucking Preux. Okay? Was it 1 year ago? Don't tell me it was 2023. I'm not that old, am I? Oh, no. Oh, no. Dustin Jacoby? Am I getting this wrong? Oh, shit. This is a different dude. Devin Clark. Got KO'd by Dustin Jacoby, eh? Okay. 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 We're cooking. We're cooking. Okay. Who the fuck is the guy who lost to Ovince St. Preux? Now I'm pissed off because I can't remember this. Ovince St. Preux. Who was it? Ryan Spann he beat. Or didn't beat, sorry. Kennedy Nzechukwu. Why is it not here? Am I missing something? Wait, what? Yeah. Oh my god, I'm a fucking I was losing my fucking mind. Maybe it was in front of me. No, it says Lucas Brzeski. Why the fuck do they not? Oh, more fights. I'm a fucking dumbass. I was gonna say, bro, there's no way I'm mistaking Kennedy Nzechukwu for somebody else. Okay, let's not forget, 1 year ago exactly, this guy lost to Ovince St. Preux, who was 45 years old. Old man, no chin, no skill. And he got backed up, outworked by Ovince St. fucking Preux, alright? Wasn't a robbery situation, even though, you know, kind of upset. I was just more or less coping. Yeah, this guy fucking sucks. Like, let's not get it twisted, okay? Kennedy Nzechukwu sucks ass. This guy's fucking horrible. But Martin Buday does suck. This would be this is exactly a Kennedy fight to lose, but I'm gonna go with Kennedy only because I'm trusting he's not gonna get pushed away by a guy who looks like he's only entered the gym one time. You know? No offense, Martin Buday. The way this guy's hopping around is literally like I'm watching somebody start Muay Thai class for their first time. You know? He's got no technique. He's just a fat heavyweight. You know? That's pretty much all Martin Buday is. Kennedy Nzechukwu at least has technique. It's just that sometimes he's not really doing shit, you know? He's on the back foot the whole time. He's not fucking throwing, you know? Really chinny, but yeah, it's heavyweight. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm going with Kennedy. Man, if this is the favorite that I lose, he's got to be the favorite, right? People got to be riding. People got to be meat riding Kennedy at this point, you know? 2 successful fights at heavyweight. Come on now. Anyways, yeah. If this is the favorite that I lose, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. Out of all the dogs I picked, if this is the favorite I lose, that'd be crazy. Moving on, Cortavius Ramos versus Li Cheng-ho. Now, Ramos is coming off a loss. I believe it was his debut to, before I see, I think it was Gaston Bolaños. Yes. In fairness, Gaston looked like the best he's ever fucking looked in any fight. And before this fight, people were talking about Gaston, and I remember this. People were talking about Gaston like he was dog shit, a bum, he's too slow on the feet, he throws in slow motion. I remember these conversations. But, honestly, you know, Cortavius is taking some time off, but he's coming back relatively short. I like that, so he can get over his embarrassing loss. The fight was close, to be fair. He did get those takedowns. It was close. Like, I know the striking numbers look like shit, but, like, you know, takedowns, You could probably see the control time. Control time was probably a major factor as well. Gaston, like, he looked fucking really good. You know? Like, if you're looking for, like, a demonstration of Muay Thai, or, like, it's like a Muay Thai mixed with, like, Taekwondo sort of stance. A little Gene Silva, if you will, in terms of the striking from Gaston. If you want to see, like, a good example of that, that fight that Cortavius had, I think is a good example. I'm going to go with Gaston. I'm going to go with Cortavius only because he looked really good in his debut. And it's debut jitters. A lot of people just lose their fucking debut. He's young, 31, prime age. He's young. Reach is kind of, like, pretty close to being there. Height disadvantage. Normally already has a height disadvantage. It's not bad, man. You know? And who is this? This is, not a debut. He beat Long Jiao. Ooh, is this the fight where they went to fucking war? Is this the fight I'm thinking about? Where it was just like a fucking... Oh, man, that was like a fucking... insane fight, wasn't it? UFC Fight Night Whitaker Alaskarov. I think it was. It was just fucking slugging back and forth, fast-paced, Nah. I don't want to be racist. Chinese guys? Chinese, right? That's gotta be Chinese. Li Chang Ho? Come on, that's gotta be Chinese, right? I'm not racist for that. Yeah. He looked really, really fucking good, but if Cortavius can just do the same thing he did last fight, like, Gaston was having success because he was dangerous, and he was fucking, like, when he landed, it's like, oh my god, how the fuck did Cortavius not go down to that? I don't think Li Chang is going to have that same success. I think he'll be fast, but I think he's going to be open for takedowns, and I think Ramos is just going to fucking blast. I think he's going to turn into a Nurmagomedov, and he's going to, you know, blast double, you know, get a single leg, hold that single leg, get him close to the fence, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Li Chang was actually on the back foot a lot in his last fight. If he gets on the back foot, I'm worried he might just get fucking hugged against the cage as well. You know, Cortavius probably learned from his last fight. He's got to be more active in his clinches. He's got to be more active in the control time areas of effect. You know, be careful of the trips, because I think that's what Gaston got. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Cortavius. I imagine Cortavius is the underdog. But yeah, you know, a lot of these debut guys, they'll lose their debut, look good, but they're missing something, and then in the next couple fights, they kind of find that something, you know, at least until they find another wall. So I'm gonna go with Cortavius. Not an easy fight for Cortavius. I'm you know, if someone was like, oh, Li Chang, that guy's gonna fucking smoke Cortavius, I wouldn't be surprised, you know. This could just be a masterclass from Chang. 30-27, just whooping Cortavius' ass, stuffing the takedowns. But I don't mean to be that guy. But very rarely do the Xiaos and the Chang Ho's and the Lees have good takedown defense, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Cortavius. I think Cortavius is going to get it done. I think he's learned from his last fight. He needs to be more technical out there. I think it was it short notice, too? Oh, man, it's crazy how time flies, man. Jesus. Anyways, moving on, we have Pat Sabatini, Joe Anderson Brito. I don't need to say much here. I'm already typing my pick. Yeah, I'm going with Joe Anderson Brito. Gonna get a round 1 KO. Pat Sabatini has no fucking chin. Here is what it's gonna be based off of. Either Pat Sabatini is going to do what his calling is, pull guard, pull a guillotine, get a lucky guillotine. That's what's going to happen, right? Or you're going to see in the interviews, at the weigh-ins, post-fight interview, fucking Daniel Cormier's fat lard ass on the mic, being like, you know, Pat Sabatini, he's saying he's really been improving the striking and technique and everything like that, and he wants to put on a stellar performance. You're going to see a lot of Pat Sabatini probably talk big about his striking. If he, for a second, says, yeah, I'm going to strike with Joe Anderson Brito, I think he just gets fucking cooked in round 1. You know, Joe Anderson's explosive. This guy is like he is kind of like a budget cut, like a 0.9 Gene Silva. You know, he's definitely not the 1.0, 2.0 Gene Silva. He's like a 0.9 Gene Silva. He's got a little bit of gaps here and there. You know, he suffers a lot whenever he faces like a really good grappler. Wrestler, to be fair. Pat Sabatini, I don't think is going to get a takedown. Pat Sabatini, I don't think is going to be able to fucking even strike for longer than a minute with Joe Anderson without getting wobbled hard. Pat Sabatini has no chin. Paper thin chin. Oh my god. Height is the same, and the reach advantage to Joe Anderson, I think he's just going to fucking whoop Pat Sabatini's ass. Like, straight up. You know? So yeah, I'm going with Joe Anderson Brito. I could be wrong. This could be like a fucking a fuse or whatever. You know, this could be a landmine. Because Pat Sabatini, to his credit, and I've dogged on him in the past, he is good on the ground. He is a phenom on the ground. Joe Anderson Brito just has the power to knock out Pat Sabatini. A lot of these guys this year, you know, 1 + 1 = 2, you know? Who was the last guy? Jamal Emmers. Right, from the last card, I think, right? Is it Jamal Emmers? I think that's his name. Jamal Emmers. Strong dude, rangy dude. Knocks out the Gabriel Santos, I want to say? No, it's not Santos. What's his name? Miranda. Because Santos is like a good Gabriel Santos. Yeah, I'm going with Joe Anderson Brito. I'm not going to spend too much time about it. Round 1 KO. If it's not a round 1 KO, Pat Sabatini's probably subbing him. Pat Sabatini will not win a decision here. I don't see it happening. I don't see Pat Sabatini having any success on the feet whatsoever. Like, he might land, right? It might be like, oh, that's stung Brito. You're not putting Brito away. He's in his prime. He's young. He looks fucking good out there, man. Pat Sabatini's only getting older. He's getting finished a lot more often. Like, he's either losing by finish or he's winning by sub. Or because he had, like, a lot of good sub attempts. You know? And I think Brito is weak on the ground. I don't think it's going to get to the ground, you know? Anyways, moving on. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. Now, before I give the final prediction here, I just want to say, I fucking hate Lerone Murphy, alright? I have a big bias towards Lerone Murphy. He was one of the first fighters I watched blatantly rob his opponent in Gabriel Santos. I believe that's his name, Gabriel Santos. I don't think I'm butchering that. Was that in 20... No, that must have been 2023. Right? Yeah, Gabriel Santos. Wow. Man, I'm getting good at this shit. I thought this was a blatant fucking robbery. Genuinely, I thought it was a blatant fucking robbery. Josh Cooley you know, he looked good in that fight. The Edson fight, he got saved because Edson was suffering from CTE and brain bleed, like a Vicente Luque, Joaquin Buckley situation, where he just didn't do Edson Barbosa things at all. Like, I don't think he threw one single kick the whole fight. And you can say, oh, well, that's because Lerone Murphy's striking is just so good that it nullified. Blah, 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 blah. No, Lerone Murphy sucks. He waits on the feet. He leaves rounds way too close. Just being honest. Danny Ige fight. Danny Ige tried a little bit too hard. Little bit too headhunty. But Lerone Murphy, to his credit, is basically Leon Edwards 0.5. Pretty much Leon Edwards 0.5. You know, he's a couple patches before Leon Edwards. You know, where Leon Edwards might have had a little bit better of a chin, but he's a decision merchant. He's not a finisher. This guy, that's 9 fights in a row. 9 fights in a row. I'm gonna fight for the title. If he says that after this Josh Emmett fight, I'm gonna lose my shit. I hate Lerone Murphy. I have a really big bias against Lerone Murphy. And I don't think he's got a good chin. I don't think his striking is that good. The only thing that is good about Lerone Murphy is that he has no problem making it a boring tippy-tap performance run away. The fucking Carlos Olberg type performance, you know? Just tappy kicks, run away. Outside of danger. Oh, I'm hit on the chin. It's okay. You know, I can take it a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, I'm up on the cards. Cruise a few rounds. You know? And man, the fucking what was Calvin Kattar's last fight? That was Yusuf Salal. The Yusuf Salal performance. Back foot, tap, 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 run away. I hate this guy. He's boring to watch. Fucking hate this dude. I think he robbed Gabriel Santos in Gabriel Santos' debut. I think this guy's dog shit. Like, I do. The only thing he's good at is distance management. And he's been gifted. The Edson Barbosa fight, gifted as fuck win. Edson just had brain bleed. Dan Ige fight, gifted as fuck win. Dan Ige was just constantly trying to headhunt. Brother, shooting takedowns, you know? And to be fair, Lerone Murphy had good takedown defense. But Josh Emmett's probably not going to shoot a takedown. He might shoot like 1 or 2 takedowns. I don't think he's going to shoot like a lot of takedowns. We're not going to all of a sudden see Josh Nurmagomedov out there. It's going to be Josh Emmett. And I love Josh Emmett. I love the way he fights. I love the way he lives by the sword, dies by the sword. I love the fact that he will get his ass whooped if it's there to be whooped. You know? Little bit of a low IQ. Very close rounds as well. Like the Calvin Kattar fight. And at the end of the day, Josh Emmett is on his way out. He's 40 years old. I love Josh Emmett in terms of a fighter and his style. Lerone Murphy is just a style to beat it. So I'm picking Lerone Murphy via decision. Probably a 40, 48, 47, 49, 48. Josh Emmett will probably have a big moment in a round. I think it will be like one of those, oh, these rounds are kind of close. Josh Emmett did have that really big knockdown, in round 2, you know. But I don't think he's going to flatline Lerone Murphy. I think Lerone Murphy knows what he's doing with this matchup. And he is just perfect for tap, 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 runaway. Josh Emmett, reach disadvantage, I'm guessing. Heavy reach disadvantage. Height disadvantage. I don't think he's going to be able to get the takedowns if he's even shooting for takedowns. I know his background's wrestling. But he also won't, like, try... How do I explain it? He won't, like, try to win a round, you know? He'll naturally win rounds via out-damaging you, you know? Knocking out, Bryce Mitchell. But Bryce Mitchell was just open on the feet. Bryce Mitchell doesn't have great striking. We know that, you know? Lerone Murphy's striking is at least passable. And I do think he's defensively sound to where the point where he's not in any danger of just an overhand right landing. It could land, and I think it will land maybe once or twice. I just don't think it's going to flatline Lerone at this point, you know? You got to land like the way he landed on Bryce Mitchell was a perfect overhand right on the fucking chin. He could do the same thing. I just don't see it happening. I hate Lerone. You will not find probably a bigger Lerone Murphy hater other than me, alright? I don't like this fucking kid. I think he's a bum, overrated as shit. Literally, the Leon Edwards we have now, but 0.5. That's how I see Lerone. But this is just a perfect fight for him to win. You know, like this is how he gets to the top. This is the timeline that he reaches the top off of free wins. You know? Gifted wins, you know? Like, man, fucking sucks. But this is how Lerone gets to the top. I think Josh Emmett's where he caps out. I don't think he beats anyone. Like, I think Bryce Mitchell beats Lerone Murphy. I think Yair Rodriguez might be able to beat Lerone Murphy. I think... Sorry, I'm enjoying my mustache. Yeah. I don't like Lerone Murphy. I do genuinely think Lerone Murphy sucks ass. I want him to get KO'd. I'm rooting for Josh Emmett to get that KO. Don't get me wrong. I'm picking Lerone Murphy. I just think... Oh, why did I type Josh Emmett? What the fuck am I doing? My pick is Lerone. Yeah. I'm going with Lerone. You gotta, you know? 40-year-old Josh Emmett. I don't think he's getting finished if Ilya's not finishing this guy. I know he was like 10-8 in every round, but if Ilya's not finishing Josh Emmett, I could probably bet my non-existent house on Lerone Murphy not getting a fucking finish here. So, yeah. I do think... I'm rooting for Josh. I hope Josh gets it done. Big fan of Josh Emmett. But Lerone Murphy, like... He is the counter to these fun fighters. Like, Lerone is just the counter to every fun fighter that has good striking. You know, Dan Ige, buddy, when he pops a kid out, let me tell you, that guy's a fucking demon, alright? Edson Barbosa, when his brain's not bleeding, buddy, let me tell you, that's one of my favorite fighters right there. Even currently now, top 10 favorite fighters, probably. You know, just that one stinker against Lerone Murphy recently. The Gabriel Santos win was a robbery, man. Yeah, I'm going with Lerone Murphy. It is what it is. So, that has been my picks for this fight night. It's been a long video. Sorry, this card's a little long. But if you made it all the way to the end, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have, jawline check, a good day.